Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Right on the Money. What if I told you that maybe one of the most important questions you ask about yourself about retirement success is what's your purpose? Man, you want to catch this episode. We've got an advisor on that is going to discuss the 5 essential strategies for retirement success. Right on the Money starts now.
This is Right on the Money with your host, Dennis Mattern.
Hello and welcome to the show that features financial professionals who discuss topics that empower you to take control of your finances. Now, today I am joined by Matt Longland, financial advisor, chartered retirement planning counselor, and founder of Aligned Financial Partners. Matt, great to see you, sir.
Hi, thanks for having me.
First off, I do have to say, congratulations. That is a very impressive designation that you have.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, not an easy one. A lot of study that goes behind that, which then makes me feel better asking you this first question, which is, why do so many people feel anxiety or uncertainty heading into retirement?
That's a great question. I think there's just so many unknowns. I think people get a feeling that there's going to be a certain amount of permanence with a lot of the decisions that they have to make. And to compound on that, you get this deluge of information coming in the mail. You're approaching Medicare. You've got to decide on Social Security. You're wondering how you turn your 401k into a retirement paycheck. So they've got all these questions in their mind, and obviously they don't have the answers for them yet. So yeah, there's a certain level of anxiety with that.
What surprises people most when they sit down for the first time to have this conversation with you?
I would have to say that after maybe the first meeting that we have, which is generally just getting to know each other, understanding their situation, and answering maybe some of the most pressing questions that they have. But once they start to kind of take a deep breath and step back and see what's in front of them, what they have to do, I think the surprising part is that they get some clarity out of it. That they realize, okay, this is something that we can do, all right, together. And I think that's probably the biggest surprise, is that, hey, this isn't going to be as involved as we thought it is.
Do you think that retirement feels more complicated today than it did 10, 20 years ago? Do you think it's the information overload that maybe causes that?
Yeah, I think there could probably be some truth to that. I think that the way that pre-retiree aged people have embraced social media, I think is kind of caused that, because you get on social media and you and I both know, you ask one question and then all of a sudden your feed is filled with those answers for
Absolutely.
months. And so I think when retirees are Googling something, a question about Social Security, what's going to happen? They're going to get in their feeds in social media, they're going to get all kinds of different answers, So yeah, I do think that has made it a little bit more challenging at times, because there's just it's coming from so many different directions and so many different opinions.
What do you think? Is the point that most people realize that they need help pulling it all together?
I think it's different from one person to the next, really. I think for some people, they start thinking about it really hard 3, 4, 5 years before when they want to retire. Sure. For other people, it doesn't happen until 1 year or several months away from retirement. So I just think it varies from person to person, when it really hits them that they need help. And sometimes it involves one of the things that we just talked about. It could be, they're turning 65, they're not planning on retiring until they're 68, but they're getting all this information about Medicare. They're getting, bombarded on social media with, how should I claim my Social Security? And then they start to think to themselves, man, I don't know the answers to these questions. So I need to go find somebody that does, somebody that's done this before.
One thing you're offering to everyone that's watching our show is this guide, 5 essential strategies to help ensure financial success in retirement. And we're going to talk about a couple of the strategies in a second, but tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you so interested in the retirement space and working with people on this side of the coin? Okay,
great. Yeah. So after I got licensed, right, so I had to take my Series 7, my Series 66, all that stuff. And then I started actually working. I was the youngest person in our office by probably 15 years, but I also embraced some of the technology. So I was the only guy in the office that knew how to use our financial planning software. So back in those days, you you got the phone, you sat down, you started making phone calls to find people to work with. And my very first client was a gentleman. He was a chemist, and he was approaching retirement. He was inside of a year, and I happened to contact him, at the right time. We had a great conversation. He came into the office. I took him through that financial planning and that retirement planning process through the software, which is all I knew at that point. I was still young in the business. I didn't know a great deal. But to see the look on his face go from total chaos and confusion to, kind of this exhale, this cathartic, reaction that he had was great. And so from that point on, I knew that that's what I wanted to do, was just to help people solve that problem and everything that goes along with it.
Awesome. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. We're going to dive into a couple of these essential strategies to help ensure financial success in retirement. You do not want to miss that. So I also want you to know that you can always watch full episodes on our YouTube channel or at rightonthemoneyshow.com. I'm going to ask you for a favor. Squeeze the like button, click subscribe. That way you won't miss a single show. We'll see you on the other side of the break.